This is the only shop in the world where no matter how much you buy, you leave with nothing. This is a story of going from a hashtag to raising $100 million for refugees around the globe.
What if you were to open a physical shop?
Here you can buy one of every single thing for £565.
Our boat sank because it was overloaded. 63 people on a boat that should take no more than 20 people.
This is a story of
Choose love.
Choose love.
Choose love.
Choose love.
Choose love.
Choose love. Choose love.
Choose Love. After the full-scale invasion of my home country, Ukraine, I started looking for ways to help Ukrainians in Ukraine, as well as refugees who are fleeing war. And looking at different companies who are doing just that, I stumbled upon Choose Love. I remember reading the news about the refugee crisis in Europe.
Europe faced its biggest migration crisis since World War II.
The problem has obviously got a lot worse.
When I actually even came out to protest to support refugees entering the UK, back then I didn't have such a close proximity experience of how difficult it can be to put structures in place for people to flee from very dangerous places to safety. Working with Choose Love has been eye-opening and super transformational for me in terms of understanding the scale of the issue of refugee crisis around the globe. Let's go inside the shop so that I can explain exactly how it works. No, wait a minute. Before we do that, I want to show you exactly how this all came to life by chatting with one of the co-founders of Choose Love, Josie.
Hi, good, thank you. It's so
Good to
great to
meet
meet
you,
you. Thank you. Welcome to Choose Love's office.
Hi, I'm Josie and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Choose Love.
Okay, Josie, pleasure to meet you.
You too.
Also compliments to your team and to yourself for the amazing work you're doing. How did you start this? How did you start Choose Love?
So there was never any intention to start or build an organization. In 2015, I was a personal assistant to the manager and creative director of Coldplay, a band that some people might have heard of.
Oh.
That is when the refugee crisis happened. There were tens of thousands of people arriving on the shores of Greece every day, and we were seeing all of these images on the news, and they didn't know where to put that energy. So when we set up the links, they went viral. And within a few days, actually, of the links being set up, there was a very famous photo of the devastating, tragic story of the little boy Aylan Kurdi. I don't know if you remember, he was a little boy who was 3 years old and he washed up on the shore of Turkey. And I think that people just were so shocked and devastated by that photo. It started a kind of spark of compassion. So many people responded. We started an Amazon wish list. We got a phone call from the storage space that we were using to say, 7,000 packages are arriving from Amazon tomorrow. Before we knew it, there were 40 people arriving every day, packing and sorting and putting away all of this aid that was arriving.
Do you remember maybe the hardest moment you've had being the CEO?
I mean, so many, if I'm being really honest. Yeah, I didn't have any, I don't think any CEOs have training to be a CEO. So you kind of learn on the job. I mean, not knowing where you're going to get the next bit of fundraising from is really stressful, and you have all of these partner organizations that need funding to be able to do incredible work. It's hard work, but it's also a privilege to be able to do it.
Okay, awesome. Every time when we talk about charities, the question of compensation arises.
The CEO of a charity in the UK is earning about £100,000 a year. That's very different in America. But you know, we live in a world where people who do the work for others are thought of that they should just do that for the joy of doing the work. And I think the conversation does need to change.
Can you talk a little bit about the shop?
Of course.
It's an interesting concept.
So I think I mentioned that we had an Amazon wish list. People bought the items and they got delivered to our storage space here, and then we shipped them to the countries that they were needed. And we started to realize that that's actually not environmentally friendly. We should be supporting local economies. So our model developed that actually we bought aid in the countries that we were working in. Someone that we had worked with for a while, he had been thinking about the Amazon wish list, and he came into the office and he said, I've had an idea. What if you were to open a physical shop?
Guys, this is Philly from Choose Love. And
Hi.
yeah, you said hi?
Welcome to the Choose Love shop. Let me show you. We're a store where you can buy services and supplies needed by refugees this winter. So everything that you see laid out in front of you here represents something that we need to buy for people. So you have blankets, you have sleeping bags, you have nappies, you have hot food. And when you buy something in the Choose Love shop, every single pound will go to buying that item that you chose and that you paid for someone who needs it this winter. Kids' coat, child's coat is always the item that people really connect with the most, I think. These organisations are all over the world, but we fund several brilliant groups who do that work at the US-Mexico border, as well as in the UK, and as part of our Ukraine response work. So these are the emergency services that we need to be funding, need to be delivered this winter. So you've got life-saving, sea rescue, land evacuations, helping people get out of war-torn countries safely. Here you can buy one of every single thing in the entire shop for £565.
Why did no one tell me you could do this? Can I get one of everything, please?
Yes, of course you can.
Thank you.
You can buy the Choose Love shop items for people who need them all through the year at choose.love, and all of the merch items that you see here can also be bought online all year round at merch.choose.love.
Hassan?
Max?
Pleasure to meet you. Even though we know each other, we just pretended that we knew.
So 2011, 2012, I was in Damascus, Syria, where I'm from, teaching English, going on road trips, going to gigs, having a perfectly normal life. And then the revolution started in Syria, where people, the uprising started and people took to the streets, demanding the end of the Assad regime. Things turned sour very quickly, so the revolution turned into a conflict. And as a result of that, millions of Syrians, 7 million Syrians, have left the country, including myself. So in 2015, 2016, during the peak of the European refugee crisis, I was one of the people who went on a dinghy, on a very crowded dinghy. Boat sank, we got picked up by the Coast Guards, and then the next day we tried again.
Your boat sank?
Our boat sank because it was overloaded. There were 63 people on a boat that should take no more than 20 people. That is difficult to experience, and you never expect that one day you're going to become like a cargo, like a number on a boat. The next day we tried again. We got attacked by the European Coast Guards. Then we had to swim and push the boat for 7 hours until we got to Lesbos. From there, we embarked on a very long journey through Macedonia, through Serbia, Hungary, Vienna, Germany. So after 2 months of trying, I was finally able to make it here on a fake passport. So after trying on trucks, after trying on lorries, on trains and getting caught, I got a fake passport.
Hang on, okay. So you say you got a fake passport. Is it like you call a guy on like a flip phone and like meet at 11 a.m. you know where, under the bridge, and then someone's like...
It wasn't actually like that. No, it was, I called a guy on WhatsApp who was based in Athens. He said, take 2 pictures of yourself and send them to me. So I literally stood against the wall and I took a picture of myself. And then a week later, he posted me a fake Bulgarian passport with the name Sureisho Anatoliev Trayanov. It took me a week to memorize the name. What I did is that when I landed in Heathrow, I turned myself in. I said, hey guys, I came on a fake passport, I want to claim asylum. I was documenting it on a GoPro because I knew that I was going through a life-changing event in my life. This is the sort of thing that doesn't happen every day. And then my footage, which I captured, was featured in a BBC documentary series called Exodus: Our Journey to Europe. I started working in documentary filmmaking. Then I made 2 documentary series about the crisis. There's a film that I was a producer on. It's currently like one of the top films on Netflix. It's called The Swimmers.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're a producer on that. Oh,
Yeah.
that's huge. How do you deal with the fact that people get tired of stories regardless of whether it's a story about, again, Messi winning the World Cup, or it's a story about the war in Ukraine or in Syria?
There are things that you and I cannot control. And one of them is sympathy fatigue. People, just become tired. So they actively choose to distance themselves from it. Because I know while the vast majority, yes, they are switching off, there are people who care. If people didn't care, Choose Love wouldn't exist. People don't realize, now we are living in an age where anyone at any time could become a refugee. Within a second, you pack your entire life in a single suitcase and you leave.
When it comes to fascinating stories, Hassan's story and Josie's story should be all over the internet, right? But it's not. The stories that we have all over the internet is like, this OnlyFans model makes $200,000 a month, or like some other guy who sells courses about how to be masculine. And like we just have like wrong heroes. Both Hassan and Josie are role models, way more than like some like famous people like on the internet. So yeah, hopefully this video helps to highlight issues that matter, and also people who are worth admiring. Peace out.